We have all heard the advice. It usually starts with the phrase, back in my day, or when I was your age. It comes from parents, grandparents, and mentors who genuinely want to see us succeed. They mean well. But here's the problem. As the world shifts socially, economically, and scientifically, yesterday's wisdom can transform into today's harmful myths. We're going to break down the top 10 lies every generation tells the next one. These aren't malicious lies, but they are outdated pieces of advice that simply don't work in the modern world. Let's get into it. Number 10. Just save your money. The most common advice young people get is to simply save their way to home ownership and wealth. Stop buying coffee, put your money in the bank, and you'll be fine. This advice ignores a fundamental breakdown of the economy. Let's look at the numbers. Imagine it is 1970. A house costs about $23,000. A brand new car is $3,500. And a year of college, just $500. Now, fast forward to today, that same house costs $400,000. The car is $35,000, and college tuition has skyrocketed to $35,000 a year. The critical issue here is that wages haven't kept up. If wages had scaled with inflation and productivity, the average worker should be making $100,000 a year. Instead, they're making around $45,000. When older generations tell you to just save, they're giving you directions to a place that has been demolished and replaced by a parking lot. They played the economic game on easy mode, while today's generation is stuck on nightmare mode. Even if you skipped avocado toast for 50 years, the math simply doesn't add up anymore. Number 9. The college degree golden ticket. For decades, the mantra was simple. Get a degree, any degree, and you are set for life. And in the 1970s, this was true. Back then, only about 11% of people had university degrees. If you had one, you were a unicorn. Companies fought to hire you. Today, nearly 40% of young people have degrees. The scarcity value is gone. A bachelor's degree is no longer a golden ticket. It is just the expensive price of admission to get rejected from entry-level jobs that somehow require 5 years of experience. With tuition up 1,200% since 1980, we've created the most educated generation in history, but also the most indebted. Telling a struggling young person to go back to school to solve their financial problems is like telling a drowning person that the solution is more water. Number 8. Do what you love. Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It sounds romantic, but this advice is often a trap. Take Sarah, for example. She loved painting. It was her escape. Then she turned it into her career. Suddenly, she wasn't painting for joy, she was painting for deadlines, dealing with taxes, marketing, and difficult clients. Her sanctuary became a source of stress. When you turn a hobby into a job, you often kill the passion. As billionaire Mark Cuban suggests, a better strategy is to follow your effort, not your passion. Find what you are good at, monetize that skill, and use the money you earn to fund the things you actually love doing in your free time. Work is allowed to feel like work. That's why they pay you. Number 7. They don't make things like they used to. You hear this every time an appliance breaks. Old stuff was built to last. Modern stuff is trash. This is a classic logical error called survivorship bias. We think old things are better because we only see the ones that survived. We don't see the millions of fridges, cars, and toasters from the 50s that rusted, broke, and were crushed decades ago. Think about the researchers in World War II, analyzing returning planes. They wanted to put armor on the parts with bullet holes, but a mathematician stopped them, pointing out that they were only looking at the planes that made it back. The planes hit in the vital spots, they crashed. It's the same with old products. That vintage fridge running in your grandma's garage isn't the standard. It's a lucky anomaly. Most old tech was just as disposable as today's. We just forgot about the junk. Number 6. We didn't have allergies back then. Older relatives love to claim that modern allergies are a sign of weakness. They boast that in their day, everyone ate peanut butter sandwiches and nobody had a problem. Here's the grim reality. People absolutely had allergies back then. They just died. If a child in the 1950s stopped breathing after eating a peanut, it wasn't diagnosed as anaphylaxis. It was written off as a mysterious causes or a weak constitution. The reason allergy rates seem higher today isn't because we're weaker, it's because medical science is better at keeping people alive. We have EpiPens now, we have clear diagnoses. This is progress, not weakness. Number 5, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This might be the biggest lie of all. Modern neuroscience has proven that the brain does not distinguish between a broken bone and a broken heart. When scientists put people in MRI machines and subjected them to social rejection or verbal abuse, the exact same pain centers lit up as if they were being punched in the face. Physical wounds heal. A broken leg takes 6 weeks, but emotional trauma from bullying can restructure a child's brain and last for decades, mirroring the PTSD found in soldiers. Telling kids that words don't hurt doesn't make them tougher, it just gaslights them into feeling guilty for being in pain. Number 4, the goldfish attention span myth. You've heard it a million times. Smartphones have ruined your brain. You now have the attention span of a goldfish, 8 seconds. This is completely false. That statistic comes from a dubious marketing report, not science. Attention isn't a fixed number, it's context dependent. A young person might struggle through a boring 5-minute lecture, but that same person can hyper-focus on a complex video game or binge-watch a complicated TV series for 6 hours straight. The problem isn't that our brains are broken. The problem is that modern media offers better, more stimulating options. If your content is boring, people tune out faster because they have better things to do. That's not a deficit, that's discernment. Number 3, the food pyramid. For decades, we were taught that the foundation of a healthy diet was eating 6 to 11 servings of bread and pasta every single day. It turns out the food pyramid wasn't built on science, it was built on lobbying. In the 1970s, the government had a massive grain surplus they needed to get rid of. When scientists tried to warn that eating that many carbs was bad, wheat farmers protested. The government caved and they redesigned the pyramid to push grains. We essentially raised entire generations on a diet plan designed by salesmen and politicians, not nutritionists. This bad advice contributed significantly to the global obesity epidemic. Number 2, wait an hour after eating to swim. The old rule, if you swim right after eating, you'll get cramps and drown. There's zero scientific evidence for this. While your body does send some blood to your stomach to digest food, it's perfectly capable of multitasking. Olympic swimmers often eat right before competing to keep their energy up. You might feel a little sluggish if you eat a massive burger and try to swim laps, but you won't sink like a rock. However, this myth might have been accidentally correct for a different reason. It forced energetic kids to take a time out after lunch, which probably prevented accidents caused by rowdiness, not digestion. Number 1, the myth of generational laziness. And finally, number 1, every generation calls the next one lazy. Ancient Greek texts from thousands of years ago complained about lazy youth. When cars were invented, people said the youth were lazy for not walking. When calculators arrived, they said students were lazy for not doing math in their heads. Today, older generations call young people lazy for working remotely or ordering groceries online. But in reality, modern workers are statistically 400% more productive than workers in the 1950s thanks to technology. Young people aren't lazy, they're efficient. They're using new tools to survive in an economy that's 10 times harder than the one their grandparents faced. So, what's the takeaway here? The friction between generations usually comes down to context. These lies aren't usually told with malice. They're just memories of a world that no longer exists. The economy has changed, science has advanced, society has evolved. Recognizing that the old rules don't apply anymore is the first step towards stopping the judgment and starting to understand each other. Thanks for listening.